And greetings and salutations, everybody. Let me see something. Anybody reactions to see if you can hear me. Just need to make sure that goes on before I start going off here. Oh, wow. I didn't mean to hit that, did I? I'm supposed to start here. Oh, wow. There's a wicked delay on this. Let's see. Cut that over to this. Pop out, and then live. Let's see. Anybody hear me? Anybody at all? Of my whopping 14 viewers. There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, it's I guess it's the delay. That's all. All right. I received a comment below my most recent video, and somebody says, can you take a look at this guy and, see what's up? So I did. And, well, like I said, that's 33 minutes I'll never get back. Gentleman's name is, he goes by the name of Santos, a.k.a. Mr. Astrotheology. And, now, I was just informed on Twitter just a little while ago that apparently FTFE had him on the other day, and so I don't know the contents of that. To be honest with you, I really don't. But if it's anything like what I saw in this video today, oh my God, it's just terrible. Now, you're gonna have to accept the fact that he showed, well, what he showed, I'm going to be showing you in much clearer format because. Look, man, I'm not trying to make light of anybody's conditions. I really am not. But, I mean, address the problem and get a tripod, pal. I'll just show you why. Because this is what all of his videos look like. It's him holding his phone. He shakes a lot. And that's why some of the captures that I have here in this video are a little bit difficult to read. So, like I said, address the problem, man, and just get a tripod, all right? But, and beyond that, if I were to just, this is about, I have to be cautious to not have something, I guess, happen to my channel as far as the language that he uses. But I'll give you a quick little piece of it.
Have amnesia. They don't realize that up until 400 or 500 years ago, all of the cultures of the earth, all of them bar none, were predicting the eclipses accurately on the model that they had, which was the only model that ever existed, the flat stationary earth. So the globe-tard Jesuits that came along, the satanic fucking liars that they are, they...
Okay, so... And he goes on to say that we use astronomy and astrology. Now remember the astrology part because that plays a key part in this entire video here. Apparently people who use astrology are liars, which I'm not going to terribly disagree with, but at the same time, he's actually kind of calling himself out as a liar because he used astrology charts through about 90% of this video. So, but anyway, Let me just continue on here. Why is that not moving? It does not want to move over to the other screen. There we go. Okay, so now you'll excuse me if I'm not terribly interested in the validity of the claims of somebody who has arguably 200 and something thousand subscribers, even though this is what it looks like when you stop paying the fake subscriber bill. This was just taken today. I mean, you don't have even numbers of subscribers over periods of days and then it drops by increments. That's called paying for subscribers, and the bill ran out. But now if you want to talk about people being godless and all this other neato stuff, but you want to use astrology as your primary focus, need I remind you, now mind you, I am atheist, however I do know what the book says. And what do you call it? And I had to go looking for this one. I just couldn't remember where it was. Deuteronomy, what do you call it? 17, 3 and 5 says, and hath gone served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun, moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, then shalt thou bring forth that man or woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or woman, meaning bury them, up to their necks, and shalt stone them with stones until they die. Okay, this is, in case you're wondering, this is the building blocks of the first commandment. What do you call it? And one of the first things that he's talking about is, that's talked about in the book, is worshiping the sun, moon, or any of the host of heaven. In other words, anything that the heavens have to offer, worshiping them as gods, or thereby holding them as truths. So therefore, if you're using astrology, I'm sorry, you can't claim Christianity at the same time. You just can't do it. But that's just me being picky. But then he went into this quote. By the way, this was a whole hodgepodge of things that he ran through, and this is why comment section arguments go so long, because it's like every other half a sentence that a flat earther speaks is just like, no, that's no, no, not that either. But this is, what do you call it? He was claiming that Copernicus said in the Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres in 1543 AD, the hypothesis of the movement of the Earth, which only one which is useful to explain a certain phenomenon, it should not be considered as absolute truth. Now, I'm going to say two things here. Number one, I'm not going to doubt that Copernicus said that. I'm not going to doubt it at all, because of the thing that is, he's accepting the fact that he only has so much information. So that, he says, these are my results, but I understand that, let's be obvious, they're not standing outside, looking at the sun go around, or sun go around, the earth go around. So, long story short, that's an acceptance. However, claiming that it was a quote in the Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres of 1543 AD, I looked that document up, read it all the way through for the first time. It doesn't say that at all. And what do you call it? I read three different, I read one and then I looked through three different ones. This one here, people at Reed EDU, this one was a very comprehensive one. There was also one in the University of Texas, and I think there was one at Harvard too, that had translations of Copernicus's work, and that quote's not in there, not even close. Now there are plenty of references to Pythagoras, which comes into this in a second, but that quote's not in there. So wherever that quote came from, it came from somewhere else. Now the funny part was I couldn't find that quote in any searches that I was doing, save one. Well, actually save two. First one was here. What do you call it? He published his famous treatise of the Revolution of Celestial Spheres in 1543, the year of his death, and even insisted that it is purely hypothetical in nature. Copernicus wrote, "The Pythagorean teaching was founded upon hypotheses, and it is not necessary that the hypotheses should be true." That's science. Until you find a better thing, then obviously anything that's old might not be true, or even probable. Well, the probable, I would almost guarantee that was never said. Let's see, the hypothesis of the movement of the Earth, and the rest of that quote. Now, sorry, but the only place that I found this, this expanded version is in Dubay's book, of course. Now, turns out Dubay didn't get it from Copernicus. Sorry to say. He got it from a French lady. Her name is Gabrielle Henright, who wrote a book called The Heaven and the Earth, which is also often called The Solid Vault of the Heaven. Yes, you can get it on Amazon. And that's where this exact quote, almost verbatim, well, pretty much verbatim, came from, on page 2. Nice to know that Dubay went far into that book. Oh, by the way, how do I know that Dubay read it? Sorry, he's the only review on that page. Eric Dubay himself gave the one and only rating for this book, and gave it 5 stars. So you can take of that what you will. Now, one thing that I do know is that through the rest of this video from Santos, it turns out that Santos is also quite the Dubay fan. I would quote him up as probably being Dubay's #1 fan. You know, the kind that most celebrities actually don't want to get. But then he starts going through his own documentation. Santos did. He starts going through this some Word document or OneNote document. I don't know exactly what. Various pictures and stuff like that. It basically reminded me of the banner that was put up at the Globe Lie tour, which I found hysterical. He brought up this meme about, you know, the different pictures of the Earth. I'll tell you right now that picture. This is the Blue Marble Project, and this is from Discover. And I already covered all this. Nice to know you guys do your research. I already covered all this 3 years ago. Photos, composites, and CGIs, to include the wildly deformed United States. How NASA got that wrong? No, it's a different technique for photography. But yeah, we'll go into that. And then, of course, you heard him say a second ago in this video that that nobody has ever predicted eclipses using the heliocentric model. They've always used the flat Earth model. And now, as I recall, there was one guy who did it in the 2nd century BC, one in the 3rd, and one in the 4th. I had that written down today, but unfortunately my computer crashed. And so you guys can look those up. One of the names was rather prominent, but doesn't matter. And it's not that they did it with a model. They just found different mathematical ways of predicting it. So, and by the way, saying that the only the only map that has ever been through history, or the only model that's ever been through history, has been the flat Earth map. As far as I recall, nobody has ever come up with a functioning flat Earth model. Not one. And what do you call it? What was it? Ptolemy came up with the geocentric model, which is a globe. Well, a long time before Newton and Copernicus. So, but if you would like to read up on all of the on all of the eclipses, there's a great book here. It's called 5 Millennium Canon of Solar Eclipses, from minus 1,999 to plus 3,000, which is 2,000 BCE to 3,000 CE, to include what's going to be coming on here. Now, mind you, this canon was finally compiled in 2007. To include, now he's going to go into eclipses here. He's going to talk about the 2015 eclipse and the 2017 eclipse. And so I would just like to point out that they're both in that book, and to quite astounding detail. I don't remember Flat Earth Society or anybody else Flat Earth coming out with a, hey, be in this spot in Kentucky to watch the eclipse in 2017. No, that came from actual scientific data, and most people got it from NASA. So I just would like to point that out. Now, he brings up this astrology site. This is how he claims you can predict. He doesn't go into how you predict it, nor why it should function, but he goes to this astrology site, and it's called, was it Astro? Oh, shit, I forgot the damn name of it. Hold on a second. I'll get the name of it. I forgot the name of it. Like that. There it is. Astro Theme. Okay, which is an astrology site. And by the way, this astrology site does not use the flat Earth map. Why? How do I know? I asked them. I wrote them an email today, and since they're here in Paris, they actually wrote back quite quickly. And now it should be said that they don't follow. They don't claim that there's any relationship to any maps as far as this goes, to include the flat, heliocentric, or geocentric models. So this is all just kind of what they made up, as with the rest of this stuff. Now, mind you, I'm sorry about how ugly these captures are, but you saw the quality of footage that was going through. Now this is him. I had to point this out because I thought this was absolutely hysterical. He was on Friday, March 20th, 2015, which was one eclipse that was over Europe. Europe, Africa, and Western Asia. And somewhat okay times, even though he's slated in New York. Didn't change the location on that. And he was claiming that Rahu was the reason for the eclipse and not the sun. It wasn't the moon. As in, the moon actually was not eclipsing the sun. Which I find... I don't even know where to go with that. He also made the claim that Rahu, that mysterious body in the sky, can eclipse the sun from up to 15 degrees away. 15 degrees. Now, you need to understand, 15 degrees is 30 suns. Or, it is. It's 30 suns or 30 moons. Actually, a little bit less, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, this ginormous thing is in the sky. This Goliath of a sun blocker is supposedly in the sky, and as a result, blocks out the sun. It's its only purpose. Because here's the funny part: I would honestly have to think that in the thousands upon thousands of star pictures that people take, these beautiful pictures the long duration shots that people take at night, somebody by now would have noticed some big 15 degree wide blocker of whatever. Somebody would have noticed that by now. Just call me crazy, but somebody would have noticed that by now. And so sorry, Rahu is not the answer, and he even shows that it's not the answer here in a second. But this was funny. He went back on that website. I'll go like this. On this website, you can go backwards and forwards in varying intervals: 1 minute, 4 minutes, an hour, 6 hours, blah blah blah. And it's not a very intuitive site. It's kind of difficult to use, but I figured it out after a little while, a couple times playing around with it. But what I found funny is that he went back an hour and was claiming that this image here is back 1 hour. Now, at some point, he does actually acknowledge 15 degrees per hour for the movement of the sun across the sky. However, this is 72 degrees, and he went back an hour. Well, after he went back an hour, the site actually reset itself to August 21st, 2017. Okay, so he went 2 years and 5 months ahead due to the site, but claims that this is the proof because of the fact that he went an hour behind. Without even recognizing the fact that it jumped 72 degrees. I mean, let's just anyway. I'm sorry. I just saw that. Thanks, Tim. Let's see here. So we learned that Santos is not Facebook friends with the truth. No, I guess he's not. He's special. I'll just say it like that. I'll be nice. Let's see here. And now his exact words were, they know that Rahu and Ketu are always the reason for eclipses. And yet nothing of Rahu is mentioned on the astrology chart, which he is trying to say predicts eclipses. Okay. Now, his exact words, I mean, I labeled them all out, what all these things are, and not one of them is Rahu, not even one of them is referred to as Rahu. Now, he points out what's called the true north node. Don't ask me what bearing that has on the rest of the world, but the true north node is what he's calling Rahu. He's calling it a physical body. Okay? Even though, if I expand this real quick, I looked it up because I don't know what the hell it means. It says, what do you call it? The north node and the south node, which is balls and ovaries, of the moon are, north and south nodes of the moon are points that are directly opposite of each other. Together, they form the nodal axis. Okay, so it looks like it's basically the north and south pole of the moon. It says they are not planetary bodies, but rather they are mathematical points that take into account the relationship between the sun and the moon and the earth at the time of our birth. Okay? Let's see. More specifically, the moon's nodes are the points where the moon's orbit intersects the plane of the ecliptic. Well, the plane of the ecliptic is heliocentric. Sorry, it is. So if you're referring to something on the heliocentric model, something that's actually referred to as a mathematical point, a mathematical construct, if you will, and also not a planetary body, in other words, not a physical thing, which he's saying blocks out the sun. Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, man? I mean, it's so funny. But like I said, he claims that that's Rahu, okay, the north node. And he said that the north node or the south node can block out the sun. Well, the north node and the south node, per definition, as I read it to you just a second ago, are basically the north and south pole of the moon. They're not physical things, and they're damn sure not on the opposite ends of the sky, which is going to come into this in a second. But yeah. Now here's the funny part. Now I actually went to the actual one because I got tired of not being able to read what any of this stuff said, and I actually went to the site, and this is when I started learning how to use it, and everything is by default at New York unless you change it. And I set myself up for minus the seconds, of course. I'm sorry. I don't know how to, it wouldn't let me change the seconds, so you'll excuse me for that. But minus the seconds, this is what he had up on his screen right here. Now, what he's trying to say is that this was blocking out the sun. Now, there's a couple of key points to remember here. Now, even though astrology does try to use cardinal locations of things, in other words, tries to use azimuths of specific objects, I mean, that's what it's all about, is where is something in the sky versus the date equals whatever. The funny part is that this astrological chart is, well, he keeps on saying that this is this is east and this is west. I understand that's when you're looking up at the sky. This is east and this is west. Well, if this is east and this would be then northeast. There's a problem there because it's showing that the sun and the moon are northeast, or well, to the northeast. When on that particular eclipse, this is New York, way over here. Northeast is looking up towards the North Atlantic. So what? I mean, this is not making any sense at all. Okay, it makes literally no sense. It's not concurrent with anything. So, anyway, moving along. Let's see here. Now, this is what he was talking about. He was talking about how the astrology chart predicts these things. Now, this was the August 2017 eclipse, and he was showing. Now, I didn't use the captures on this because I got tired of making captures that kept on coming out blurry. These are the captures that he actually showed. These are the models that he actually showed. He's showing basically the moon traversing from one side to the other, and nothing. Okay, it was sun, moon, and north node, and sun, moon, north node. So what the hell was he showing? He wasn't showing anything. And not to mention the fact that this is set for New York. Since when is the sun and moon north of New York? And especially not during the eclipse when we had it mapped out. Anyway, these were the eclipses of 2017 and 2015. They were the ones that he wanted to talk about. And obviously, like I said, New York showing that the sun and moon are to the north. The 2015 eclipse actually happened over Europe and Africa. And I'm not sure exactly how that's southeast. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's south of New York at all, like in any way south. So, but he's saying that this predicts it. This predicts it. Okay, this is what really does it. So let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, and these were the two eclipses as predicted in the canon of 5 millennia of eclipses. This is the eclipse in 2017, the Great American Eclipse. And this one I actually had the privilege of seeing, a portion of, when I was here in Germany. Yeah, it wasn't too spectacular. It was only a small portion that got covered, visible from where I was at. Now, but again, the cardinal locations from New York just don't even make sense. So, really, yeah. I don't even know where to go with half of this. I really don't. But anyway, let's see. While detailing his findings about the 2017 eclipse, he goes back to 2015 eclipse aircraft footage, narrated by Rob Skiba. I'm just going through notes here as we're going through this. It was the whole Rob Skiba thing about the reflections on the window. Apparently, those were orbs in the sky that were eclipsing the sun and not the moon. As some of you remember, there was some really, really good footage that was brought out, flying on an aircraft, watching the shadow go over it was just so awesome. But I'll cover that in a second because he does come back to it. And then, where Rob Skiba actually claims that most people think that the phases of the moon are caused by the curvature of the earth. Rob? I don't know anybody who thinks, that's right, I'm sorry, Unirock does. I don't know anybody who thinks that the phases of the moon are caused by the earth at all. So, thanks for reminding me of that stupid clip. Let's see, and then Santos says at 8 minutes and 23, yeah, this is all the further I got into this. 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Most eclipses in history with the sun and the moon, most eclipses in history with the sun and the moon way above the horizon, eclipsing the sun, proving that the earth has nothing to do with it. Well, nobody says the earth has anything to do with a solar eclipse. The moon does. So, really, just talking crazy stuff now. Then he goes off about COVID and mask wearing and all this other stuff, so I skipped through that part. And then he goes back to the 2017 astrology chart to describe the 2000s. Whoops, denied. Yeah, I typoed that. He goes back to the 2017 astrology chart to talk about the 2015 eclipse, because that was his main focus, claiming that Rahu can be up to 15 degrees away from the sun and eclipse it, which is like, seriously? That it doesn't even make sense. So let's see. Then he had a problem with the website, and as I said before, I also did too. It was not very intuitive, not very easy to use. It took a couple of shots until I finally figured out how to use it. But it's kind of funny. I really have to honestly say, literally, I learned how to use it in one day, and I'm not even interested in the subject. He's using this as his proof that these charts actually predict eclipses, lunar or solar eclipses, and he doesn't know how to use it. I'm sorry, that kind of weighs on the credibility of that claim. Sorry, like I said, normally I wouldn't claim that anybody has to be an expert on any particular website, but I'll tell you this, if I turn around and I say Stellarium proves something, I better at least know how to show that, Um, yeah, and this was the 2015 eclipse. Now I actually did it right by having the traverse showing between the moon and the sun, as in the moon is on one side of the sun at one point, and the moon is on the other side of the sun at another point. And this was for the 2015 eclipse. I don't know why it's pointing in this direction, but I did show the traverse. The bad part is, though, is that his claim of Rahu's on this side of the on this side of the sky. So apparently it can eclipse it from the opposite side of the sky. I mean, what the hell sense does that make? That's even more than 15 degrees, buddy. So, yeah. And then he went back to the footage. Now, let's talk about the footage. This is him actually talking about the ones, these three dots here and stuff like that, which is nothing more than reflections on the different panes of glass. That's all it is. As a matter of fact, that's a great way, when you set it up right, that's a great way to measure the size of the sun without burning out your camera or your eyes. But we'll save that for another day. But these two are also from the exact same aircraft. This is, I think, from another aircraft, but it might be the same one. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not even going to claim that it is. But these are obviously from at least the same type of aircraft, because they have the same type of windows. Well, look, do you see any correlation of these supposed orbs that are eclipsing the sun? No correlation whatsoever. So that's saying that it's something local to each one of those photographers and not something that's out in the sky that everybody's photographing. Otherwise, they would all be essentially identical. Or at least the positions of them would be. And this is actually it a couple of seconds before the eclipse. Okay, no orbs whatsoever. And this one was somebody else with, just a hand camera. And apparently he got one of the cheap seats, because if you look at it, it's just he got a window that's not so awesome. And yeah, now all you see is these dots here. I actually captured it at this point so you can see these dots. These dots are not there the whole time that he's filming it. I captured it here to at least attempt to support the claim. But as you can see, none of these dots coordinate with any of the other dots because of the glass. So, sorry to bust it to you, man, but no. And Rob Skiba, talking to you in the past, also no. So, and then Santos goes off about elite families and how they're all going to get the guillotine, and also thinks that Hubble would be useful at taking pictures of the Earth. Anybody who knows anything about telescopes, anybody who knows, hey, Snark, thanks, buddy. Let's see, have a beer and a good one. Well, I'll have a beer tomorrow because I'm having ice cream tonight. So, but I definitely will. Thanks, Snark. And things that Hubble would be useful at taking a picture of the Earth. If you know anything about telescopes and focal lengths and all this other stuff, the Hubble telescope would be useless looking at the Earth. Useless. Okay, it would look at the Earth and it would see it worse than my old grandmother. Okay, because it wouldn't be able to focus on it. So no, Hubble telescope wasn't designed for that. It was designed to look outwards, not inwards. If you want to look inwards all day, you can do that with the Discover satellite, with the Himwari satellite, and those run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, man. And you can get high resolution or medium resolution photographs from them like every couple of minutes. And not to mention weather satellites and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to watch things, man, there's things that are already dedicated to that purpose. And then, of course, the out of context Robert Simon thing, which I still haven't met a flat earther who actually understands what the hell the guy was talking about there. So. And then, of course, he went off on this thing about, he showed a picture of the Klingman's Dome, which is right around North Carolina, Tennessee border. There's a observation dome on the top of a hill and all this. And one of its claims to fame is that you can see 7 U.S. states at the same time. Now, I don't know if you can see 7 of them at the same time, but 7 of them in 360 degrees. Well, the damn thing's 2 kilometers high. Okay, as in it's up on top of a hill 2 kilometers high. You can see that far just fine. Okay, and from there you can see North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. Now from Mount Monadnock, in New Hampshire, you can also see 7 states. So it's not the only place you can do it. Just figured I'd point that out to you. Anyway, then Santos goes off about 360-degree horizons. Ignorant, of course, of the geometry that's involved with that. Yeah. So, but I already did 360-degree horizon with a 360-degree camera on a known spherical object, and guess what? It was a flat horizon all the way around. But of course, you guys already knew that because everybody here is associated with geometry in some way and knows that, if you're looking at one level at one direction, if you turn around 360 degrees while standing above or on a sphere, it's going to be the same level down all the way around, which means in 360 degrees it's going to represent a flat line. Now, then he goes, let's see, at 22 minutes and 40 seconds, he said Santos claims that Rahu eclipsed the sun from the opposite side of the sky. This was something that he actually posted. Here's the north node, which he claims is Rahu, and here's the sun. Anybody see the problem here? Anybody at all? The problem is pretty simple. How many telescopes is Hubble telescope made from? Or is it one telescope with different cameras? As far as I'm aware, it's got several different camera types to it, as in camera objectives. But one telescope, one big fat mirror. Anybody who remembers when it first went up, yeah, we all heard more than we wanted to know about that damn mirror. But anyway, nevertheless, so Rahu is apparently eclipsing the sun from the opposite side of the sky, and has nothing to do with the fact that, just coincidentally the moon happens to be right next to it. And then, of course, now I picked a different location. It was just to see if I could pick a different location. Plus, I had another thing that I wanted to check about these astrology things. So excuse me about the fact that I used Natal, Rio, in Brazil, the coastal city, one of the coastal cities of Brazil. And I used this location and did one of these readings during the summer solstice of 2021, and on or about the summer solstice. And this is what the astrology chart taught me. Now, remember, this is supposed to be east, this is supposed to be west, this is supposed to be north, this is supposed to be south. Well, I turned around and I checked where things were compared to stellarium. And by the way, I have not found stellarium to ever be wrong. You might get it by about a half a degree somewhere, or maybe even a quarter of a degree. But that's very specific things that you're looking for. But as far as the big guys, the planets and the moon and some of the major constellations, it's never going to steer you wrong. And yet, in this, stellarium is showing on the same date for both of these, from the same location for both of these, that the moon is just a little bit southwest. Well, it's west-southwest. Whereas on this, the moon is, northeast, I guess. And what do you call it? Now, even if you want to rotate this around, that's fine. You can do that. But let's try and put it in the right place here, and then, but nothing else matches up. Obviously, the sun doesn't match up because the sun's not even up, and then because this is right around midnight, and then nothing here matches up. Okay, here's Jupiter. I was looking at Jupiter. Doesn't match up. So it really has to call into question exactly what it is that's being shown there. Now, this was a particularly funny thing. What do you call it? There's the discussion of the 7 Salems. Apparently, along this route of what do you call it, where the moon was going through. Apparently along this route, there are 7 towns of Salem, called Salem. Okay, now you need to understand that in the United States, there are 20 to 30 Salems in the U.S., depending on how you rate the size of a town and how that makes those lists. So hitting 7 of them with a stripe across the United States doesn't sound too odd to me. Okay. Seeing that, like I said, Salem is one of the top 10 town names in the U.S., but every city, but the other side is that every city and town and village in the United States saw some portion of the eclipse. Now, he always likes to say that this can't be modeled out on the globe. Now, let me show you what happens when you model it out on flat Earth. Okay, now there's a very specific problem that happens here. Okay, now I modeled this out for the 2017 eclipse. People have seen this before. I posted it online shortly afterwards. And what I'm using is 3D rendering software called 3ds Max 2010. And I'm doing a very accurate model and trying to give it the best ability to succeed. Right here is, what is it, Hopkins, Kentucky, whatever, Hoptown, where the maximum eclipse was shown. I even made it so that it locked up to that location, and then the locations, the time before and the time after. And watch what happens. Watch the shadow. Shadow goes up from the south, hits it, and then comes back out again. That's how the shadow would go if the flat Earth were true. Okay? That's how the shadow would go. And that's nothing more than the sun and the moon going around on their tracks specifically. And I locked it up so that right here it would bullseye the place that we all know that it hit. Now, the problem is that it didn't fix to any other locations that it was talking about hitting. Okay, it might have hit a couple of them out to the east, but obviously it didn't come in from the west coast. Now, another problem is that everywhere you see that shadow, okay, everywhere you see that shadow, or at least the focal point of that shadow, people were watching a solid, completely dark, full eclipse of the moon, or of the sun. Okay, so what that means is it wasn't just one part that finally got the totality of it. Okay, it means that it was people were watching the full eclipse of the moon from a lot of different places in North America and South America. Now, here's the funny part about that. If you track that out, okay, it makes a loop. I also put a stripe on there for where the actual stripe went of the moon. And obviously you see that it didn't even touch it other than that one point. Now, what you also notice here is that it makes itself a circle, or a loop, excuse me. Now, if this were true, okay, and we all started hollering, flat Earth as opposed to heliocentric or geocentric, if this were true, then this one place in 2017, this one place down here in Chile, okay, would have seen the eclipse 2 times in the same day. Okay, they would have seen it 2 times. And that would be the kind of place that people would be advertising that we all need to go, because that's going to be the place to be to see 2 eclipses. And sorry, but since we all know that that didn't happen, then that pretty much screws anything having to do with flat Earth and eclipses. So we'll get off of that. I only got a little bit more to go here, guys, and then I didn't want this to go very long. That's why I'm not really addressing much of the chat, because I just want to get through this. This is just, oh man. Then, of course, it didn't take long for him to show the Eric Dubay book, and sorry, but nothing about that thing is factual. Then he started going through his own stuff, and you'll notice that this is a lot of the stuff that was actually on that Globe Lie Tour banner, and which I've already been through in Close Encounters with Flat Earthers Part 1 and 2. Part 3 is finally coming. Part 3 is when I'm actually interviewing actual flat earthers. It was fun. And but nevertheless, he decided that he wanted to go into talks about the dog cam video. Well, sorry, did that, tested it with several people internationally, and turns out none of the conclusions that flat earthers ever had about that footage were correct. In fact, after being tested, it quite solidly confirmed Earth being a globe. And then, of course, he started talking about these horizons, talking about how they're flat. And sorry, but like I said, I did the 360-degree globe horizon, where I landed a 360-degree camera on a known spherical object, a very large one, and got the same result. So, therefore. And then, of course, he says all railway lines are flat, 100%. They're all flat, according to him. Well, I guess no train has ever gone up or down a hill. So, there goes that notion. So then, let's see. Then Santos states that we should feel the G forces of the Earth's orbit around the sun. No. Hell, the G forces that you would feel from the Earth's rotation all by itself, which is actually rotating 365 times faster. Sorry, that's like 0.003 G's or something like that. I might be off on a zero there, but it's behind the decimal. So, no, we would not be feeling the G's of that. What do you call it? Then Santos praises Dubay some more and how awesome he is. And then apparently you can feel the Earth is dead still. In other words, he actually said that if you meditate, you can feel that the Earth is still. I don't even know where to go with that. Let's see. Then, of course, there was a few pictures of objects where things are, claimed to be shouldn't be able to be seen. A couple of over the horizon folks. And of course, he's just following Dubay's word on it. He doesn't perform any analysis on it. And then he actually went into talking about one of the videos that he posted, exposing the Copernican liars, including astrologers, even though he's using astrology. I'm sorry, that just tickles me every time I hear it. Anyway, I pulled a thumbnail from that so I could find out what it was, because, like I said, he couldn't hold the camera straight, so I couldn't really get a good shot of exactly what the data was that was being shown. And then I found this one. These are two. This is from one island to another island out in the middle of the ocean. Well, out in the ocean. And he was talking about you can't see a reunion from, I'm going to butcher that name, Mauritius, I think. And what do you call it? Now, mind you, this thing's 3 kilometers high, and which means that from the distance that was involved here, they didn't need to be much more than 100 meters off the surface of the water to see them just fine, to start seeing them. Which when I looked it up on the terrain elevations, that's anywhere that's not red here. Obviously not the water, but here on land, anywhere here is going up to 600, 700, 800 meters. So they would be able to see it just fine. Now, the part where you can see where he made his mistake, what do you call it, is the most common word drop of what flat earthers love to screw up by saying that it would be 2.47 miles under the curved drop. In other words, what he's quoting is the drop distance and not the hidden height, and so therefore he thinks that it shouldn't be seen at all because of the drop measurement. So, come on. Let's see. And, well, okay, well, then that's pretty much going to sum it up, except for the fact that I had posted a great comment underneath his video, and then he decided that, and it's obvious why he does these videos and stuff, it's to get paid. He's got like about 12 different links of different ways to either pay him or support him. I wrote this all out in a nice calm comment. As far as I'm aware, it's still up there. But the funny part is that he started to write back to me, but I don't know what happened to his comment, but he got rid of it, either got rid of it himself or he spammed himself, depending on what was the rest of this. I don't know. I really don't know. But I did get the notification. What do you call it? It says, "Your stupidity astounds me. You would be a good politician, convincing people cleverly to take the jab." See, this is where he turns around and makes it about. I don't even think I wrote anything about COVID. Yeah. So he's talking about that, and but if you must know, and I made this public knowledge, as a matter of fact, I filmed both of them. Yes, I have 2 jabs. Thank you, and am happy to be healthy with it. So, kiss my ass. So anyway, that's all I really got on this. This was 33 minutes of a video that unfortunately takes longer to explain to be bullshit than not. Hopefully, skipping all over those parts that he went through. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff in there that I wanted to go lean into, but I was just like, man, I'd be here all day. But so to my buddy in the comments, this is me taking a look at Santos' stuff, and all the words that I seem to be hearing from everybody else. Yeah, he's a special one. I'll just say it like that. So, let's see here. Oh my God, dang Joss, what the hell is going on, man? Let's see. And then Ugly German Truths, what's going on, Tommy? Let's see, who else we got? Well, Snark, I already said hi to you. Let's see, who else do I got going on here? Flog bags, yeah, I think you were the one who sent me that damn thing. Gee, thanks a lot. Turtle Moves, what's up? And let's see here, what's up, Dora? Exploratory Minds Project. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've seen you out this side. I've seen you on Twitter a lot, obviously. Let's see, Mark Beezer, and oh, geez, Everett, you changed your icon. And let's see here. Who else do I got going on here? West is to the left. West is to the left of north, and north is oriented at the top. No, Corey, I would like to correct you on that, because I even showed that in Stellarium. When looking up, obviously, that's reversed. Okay, so north and south. West would be to your right if your head is oriented to the north. West would be to your right, and east would be to your left when you are looking up. It's a little bit disorienting because we're all used to seeing east on the right and west on the left when it comes to looking at a map that's looking down at the earth. Let's see here. What else do I got? Hi. Silky666. Yeah. Oh, Geistview is in here. What's going on, man? Fellow man at arms. Skydog. Alright, well, let's see. Tiny Captain. What's going on? And let's see. And colon. Okay. That's going to be a hard name to forget. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody stopping by. Oh, geez, there was more up there. Rini, what's up? Gio. Good. Let's see here. Fred Knotts. Oh, everybody was here. And Facty. What's going on? Anyway, that's all I really had on this. I didn't want to make it go out too long. What's up, Stringer? And it went on probably a lot longer than I thought. Yeah, 55 minutes. So it took me 55 minutes to explain out a portion of 33 minutes of video. Anyway, I hope everybody liked Quickie 7. Quickie 8 is actually right behind it, as well as Close Encounters with Flat Earthers, Part 3. that's pretty much almost already done. I got to cut it all together because there's a lot of footage that I had to put together in that one. I actually had to do a big long road trip 3 times, and yeah, I had fun with that. And then somebody told me that on the globe Earth you can't see Mars, or excuse me, you can't see Venus or Mercury, which I found to be absolutely hysterical. And so I modeled it out in that big parking lot. So that part's coming out too. So I just hope everybody enjoyed the show. I'm sorry I had to rush so much information into one thing, but I mean, you guys know it as well as I do that flat earthers will spit out more BS, and it just takes so much longer to clean up the mess. So anyway, I wish everybody, like I said, I don't have the boom. I still haven't figured out how to do this. Well, actually, what it is, I just haven't taken the time to figure out how to do it in OBS. So all I can say is, I wish all y'all